All right, all your reports being cited all across the country. Let's begin with the big one, of course, on everybody's mind. It's AJ. Latest that
Yeah.
you hear.
Howie is holding firm. And now you're seeing teams like Buffalo that were in it saying, got to grab the old bird in the hand versus the two in the bush, right? And now really all eyes are toward New England right now, to see if that's a possibility. And because the connection there, it's been talked about, and they definitely have been talking to them. There's no question in my mind. And they have to make a decision because they're coming up on free agency here, and Alec Pierce has been a guy that's been mentioned in connection to New England. I've had people go, Pierce's deal's already done to New England. It's that time of year where it's like, okay, we're still 3-4 days away. I'm sure that there's been talk between the Patriots, even though there's not supposed to be, talk between the Patriots and Alec Pierce. So, at this point, we're coming close. Now, there's a couple of ways this plays out, right? Maybe you get to the start of the league year and Howie goes, okay, like we're keeping him. He's in the fold. And then we get closer to the draft and maybe it rekindles. And then we get into training camp, the season. Now you're after June 1st, which I know is preferable from a salary cap standpoint. There's a couple of ways that this could play out. And frankly, it's a challenge for Howie to figure out how to do it, not just from a personnel salary cap standpoint, but from a personality standpoint.
So if he said, "Hey man, I'm not doing it. I'm not getting what I want."
Yeah.
And AJ, you're with us.
Yeah.
How do you think that goes over with AJ? Because and again, the Eagles like him. So
yeah, I think somewhat okay. I'm going to sit down in a second. I promise you. I think somewhat okay, right? It's not going to be adversarial. It's not like he's asking to be traded, right? It's not like he's been working with he's been working with them, and they've been working with him. He doesn't have a no trade clause, right? He doesn't have that kind of power here, but they want to make sure that they do right by a guy that they really like and appreciate, and they want it to work for all parties. And there's certain places that he wants to go. I know he's not going somewhere with an uncertain quarterback situation. That's not his preference. And that's why when we talk about whether it was the Bills and Josh Allen, or I heard the Rams were in at some point. It doesn't sound like the Chargers are going down that road, but that would be a place I think that he would like to go from what I gather. Drake May in New England, right? It's got to be a place where, okay, the quarterback situation is settled. I'm not commenting on Jalen. I'm just saying if he winds up going somewhere else. I saw your face. I saw your face, cuz.
No, listen, I hear the same thing. I get, like, we all kind of understand it. It's whatever. We don't need to go down the rabbit hole.
Well, I mean, but that's where it gets into, okay, if he's going to stay, if he's going to be in the mix, now how do you manage it? I've been on here
saying my whole point, which is, I think the Eagles would be fine. Like, all right, like I'm not in a hurry. I know Howie is not in a hurry. Oh, my man, look at
Wawa mugs.
I love it.
I don't know. That's a tough thing because there's been so much intervention already. It's not like, oh, this popped up last year and now we got to figure out a way to, like, hey, guys, put that, like, they've tried to get this on the right track. Now, the only thing that leads to confidence on their end is we won the Super Bowl while a lot of this stuff was going on. And that was the tone last year. It was like, yeah, this is nothing new. You guys think it's just like we've been dealing with this even when we won the Super Bowl. Okay, great. There's only so many times you can keep going back to that well or keep plugging holes in the shit. So that's my biggest question on this one, and I don't know the answer to that, Ant.
Yeah. What do you think?
I also one more thing. I don't know if this is all posturing by Howie, and in the end, he's just going to go, I'm just going to take the best deal, right? Like, this may be all the communication to other teams, which he knows is going to get back to us, which is why I'm saying he's got a high price and he's sticking to it, may just be like, I'm going to play this out to the last possible moment, and then I'm going to say, okay, whatever the best deal is on the table from New England, let's take it, and he winds up trading. We'll see.
Is there a – because first of all, Alec Pierce is not enough. They got rid of Diggs. Like, they need AJ. Like, New England needs AJ Brown. Like, AJ Brown's way better than Alec Pierce. I like Alec Pierce as a deep threat, right? But he's not AJ Brown. Could it be that Howie goes, hey, I want the one next year, not this year. This year's 31. Next year, like who knows, right? Like I don't know. The Patriots are going to lock the repeat. Who knows what happens?
Can't be much worse, right? Like it's a different. If you're at like 17 to 20, right? You go, well, it could be better, but it could be worse. Like this is one.
Well, you're 31.
Exactly. That's so. There's two ways to that. Like that's the way that I would do it in an ideal world. But you also need help now, right? If you're taking away one of your premier players, you've got to help the roster now. So how do you balance that, knowing that you've got yourself a late first round pick? It's basically a 2 in the minds of NFL evaluators. But if you get next year's pick, you could be potentially that much higher. Drake May could break his leg in week 1, right? Like it's just there's things that can happen, and they've done it before. Like they've made trades before, and it winds up being better. You know, the Colts deal was with Carson was a 3 in year 1, and then a conditional 2 that became a 1 in year 2, if I recall that correctly, right?
Yes.
And that wound up being an extremely smart way of them playing it, and a way to get themselves draft pick collateral moving forward. They were in a better position, I think, roster-wise. That at that point, I shouldn't say roster-wise, they were just in a better position because when they traded away Wentz, he wasn't going to be their quarterback anyway,
right?
Versus the guy who's going to be your number 1 receiver. So this is, of all the challenges that Howie Roseman has had, and he's had plenty, and he's missed on some, and he's done a great job with a lot. This is maybe the most challenging situation in my mind for him.
Yeah, it is.
And I think the high price, because of the salary cap pain that you're taking on, especially if you do it pre-June 1st, that's a big reason for the high price as well.
Yeah, and the other issue too is, is Howie looking at this thing like a reset, not a retool, but a reset. In that, you got a new coaching staff, the offense, you got questions everywhere on the offense, right? So, and then next year, you're going to have to plan for next year too, because next year you got to figure out, all right, who's my core, who I'm paying defensively, who's my defensive coordinator, because you assume that Vic probably, this is probably last year for Vic after the 2 past years. So this could be one of those, hey, I could be competitive and reset the thing. And, he could be thinking along those lines too.
He can't. I mean, if you've got your Super Bowl quarterback, Super Bowl MVP quarterback, you're not resetting anything ever, right? You're not. Think about it in terms of, Cincinnati with Joe Burrow, and, he's been hurt and it hasn't worked out in that regard. But, you're doing this and you're making moves knowing that you're going to be, because you're in your window. You're in your window right now. And if you're going to make a hard decision about Jalen Hurts at some point in the near future or near to long-term future, that's going to potentially change things if you're not prepared for that, if you don't draft ahead of that. Which, by the way, Tanner McKee, I know there's been mentioned. Like I heard that they are firm on we're not moving unless they get blown away. But
I heard that too. I heard
McKee. That McKee's going to wind up still being their number 2 this year.
Yeah.
So it's a delicate balance. You can never. There are some towns where you can tear down.
That's why I guess I don't know what's less dramatic, retool or reset.
It's a different word that means the same thing to me, right?
Versus one is less dramatic. So I thought reset.
Which one? Retool?
Or was it retool? Right, one or the other thing. That one's quicker than the other.
You say rebuild.
Well,
we're talking about
whoa. And that's what this is not.
Drywall down.
This is not a rebuild.
Yes. No. This is a retool, reset. Reset is worse. You said retool or reset?
So to me, reset of dramatic, it goes reset, retool, rebuild.
You're going, but rebuild's the most dramatic.
Right.
Hold on.
Okay. Let's do it this way. All right? You calibrate head. Rebuild, right? Retool, reset.
No, reset is closer to rebuild. Retool is like, you're going in for a tune-up, right? You got a pit
quick
stop.
reset.
You're changing the tires.
I need a quick reset. I'm going to reset the quick reset.
That's
Boom,
like a
boom.
control alt
Reset
delete
is.
though. Reset your computer. It's like a restart almost, like a
Yeah,
reset.
the Nintendo, you reset the game, you're starting over, right?
Yeah,
That's it.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
no.
I'm
But
down.
I,
I'm down
I,
with that. I'm down
Yeah,
with the.
see,
I'm down with the verbiage.
we got there.
but I just feel like, I mean, and then listen, on top of the quarterback and the wide receiver, Lane Johnson's not going to play that much longer. Landon Dickerson's not going to play that much
Right.
longer. They had questions on that offensive line. Like, there's
Yeah.
a lot going
Yeah.
on here
Yeah.
with this team and with this offense. He'll never have a full blown, honest conversation with me. I wish he would, because
Yeah.
I'd love to know what's happening
Yeah.
in his head right
Yeah. I know. Me too. All right. Let's kind of move Crosby, like, because Lane tweeted the
now. Yeah, what was
eye
that?
emojis. Well, like, I know that Lane's close to Max,
Right,
and Lane might have been texting Max to recruit him. You know, I mean,
right,
you never know, right?
right. But then you throw the eyeballs. It's like I know something, right? Like, oh, yeah, Howie just told me.
Well, it's not
So
Howie. I mean, I know Max is the guy. Like,
right,
he and Max may be tight.
right, they both trained with Jay Glazer in the past, so they've
Yeah, they have a lot of
yeah.
good.
And but I never know if it's like, hey, Lane's on the way. Watch this. Watch what I'm about.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
or if it's Max saying, "Hey, throw something out there."
Yeah.
Now, the Maxx Crosby thing is interesting because you and we talked about it. I've said repeatedly, I lean more toward them trading him than not trading him. I felt that way the whole way. Is that my internet going? You guys got me? All right. I felt that way the whole time. I still do. It's now sort of openly being discussed and talked about, and everybody seems to understand that it's more likely than not. I just don't know the time frame for it, and I don't know if because the price of like two ones, which is extremely high. That's really
Yeah,
I'm now if it's New England's one, that's a different story, right?
right.
Like New England, I do 31 in next year because I'm confident that it's still going to be like your two back of the first round picks there. Like that's so if you're doing that, two ones make sense. If you're up higher in the first, it's one and then whatever you want on top of that, whether it's a player or a pick.
Who are the teams you think would be most in? Right. So
Boston.
yeah, like the teams that would be the most aggressive. You think the biggest suitors for Crosby?
Yeah. I mean, I
Dallas?
certainly put the Eagles. I put the Eagles in there. Dallas, but I don't think that they would hang with the bidding because they just traded away a younger guy at the same position
Right.
to get the picks, and then you're going to trade. Like, this makes no sense from that
Right. Well,
standpoint.
that's what they do. They don't make sense.
Right. Well, okay. It would have to be. Well, they did. Listen, they did trade for Quinn, and then they gave up a 1 and a 2 for him. Chicago certainly in the mix there for Maxx Crosby as well. I did hear Seattle mentioned at one point that they would entertain the possibility of making that happen there, but I don't know how strongly they're in it right now. Who am I missing? Yeah.
No, I mean, I think that's the kind of it. I mean, Washington, but I don't think Washington's there.
Washington, yes, Washington, certainly. Yeah, I mean, I could then name another 10 teams, but it's like,
Right. No, but like the teams that would be
right,
aggressive to go after him.
Yeah, I think that's the list.
All right. So now let's go back.
Well, hold on. Is Max trolling us? Because I'm looking through his Twitter. On March 3rd, he puts "fear less, do more" with an eagle emoji.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah, I didn't see that one, but I heard he put an eagle in something.
So, I mean, him and Lane just trolling us.
Well, doesn't he have like an eagle tattoo on him already, right? Or is he
No,
like? I think he does.
He does. Yeah.
You can hide behind that, but
Yeah.
also send it out signals, and
Yeah.
I'm sure he'd love to come here, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure he would if you gave him his druthers of where he would wind up. I mean, he certainly wants to compete. That's the biggest thing for Maxx Crosby. I'm such a good player. I'm such an accomplished individual player. I've got team goals that I haven't reached now. And a team that just won the Super Bowl 2 years ago. Vic Fangio, an amazing coordinator. The chance to get back and compete and play in meaningful games. I'm sure Max would love that. There's no doubt.
You know what's interesting? Can you imagine if you put Max next to Carter and Davis? Like, how with those linebackers, with Cooper and Quinion, like, oh my God, that defense would be the greatest defense, but it would be on par with the buddy defenses.
It would be pretty. I mean, and don't Zach? You're skipping over Zach Bond at the second. Not skipping. I'm just,
No, I
Zach
said
Bond.
the two linebackers.
I mean,
yeah,
right. You're solid everywhere. You're solid on all three levels. And Jalen Phillips. We're talking about him. He's going to be into the 20s, right? And what's Maxx Crosby? He's into the 30s. It's not an overly. It's not
right.
a crippling deal in the way that Micah.
Now,
Parsons.
what is Danielle Hunter with him getting 40? What is that?
Yeah, I mean. Maybe he'd want an adjustment, or maybe he'd just be happy with, let me get somewhere. I made enough money. I'm going to make more money. Let me get somewhere and compete and not hamstring them. I don't think it's a money grab.
No, I don't
never
either.
get that sense. It's a guy who wants to compete and wants to play on a winning team. That's what it is.
What about Goedert? Like, what do you hear about Goedert? If he plays somewhere else, there's a $10 million dead cap hit.
Yeah, the cost of pushing things forward, and it's the price you got to pay. And I mean, you can't escape it too. Any new deal would just really push it, and you try to smooth it over into the future. So it's like it's always going to come due at some point. And as long as the salary cap continues to increase, you can kind of smooth that stuff over. Which is why I think it's sort of baked into the age. Like if AJ Brown gets traded, Goedert is back in Philly, so that helps. That because you're taking that huge cap hit. If AJ's back, you're not taking the same kind of cap hit with AJ. And so Goedert is gone and you're assuming that like it's sort of interconnected that way. And that's why I had, the other day when I mentioned it, the other day with regard to them wanting to bring Goedert back and expressing an interest, but until the AJ part gets solved, they can't really do. So if AJ's there, Goddard's not there. This is pretty much a simple formula in my mind.
What about Blankenship? Because
have not really. They've talked, but have not really engaged. And that doesn't mean. I think he's in that same boat of how much money do we have to go around? Because if we're paying AJ and we're trying to get a Jalen Phillips back, and again he's into $20+ million per year, it's going to make it hard on Reed. I know they'd like to have him back. They'd like to have all their guys back.
Right.
They're really trying. It's not like they've got any free agents where we're like like even the Kobe Dean's going to probably wind up elsewhere, but it's not.
Yeah, well, that you can expect. I mean, isn't Dallas like the kind of
Dallas
Christian
is one
Parker,
of them, yeah. Dallas is one. I think he's got a few teams and coaches out there and evaluators that like his skill set. So it's just it's not. There have been free agents they've had before where it's like that guy's gone. Thanks, don't let the door hit you type stuff. And this is not it. I don't, for any of them. I really don't. They've got a good collection of guys that are going to get paid if they go elsewhere and they're going to contribute elsewhere.
All right. Let's keep rolling. Phillips, you talked about. Phillips, is he going to get a lot of heat? Like, is there going to be a lot of heat for him?
Yeah, I think so. Young pass rusher. I'm just checking. Diana Rossini. I like Diana. She's my buddy, my Jersey buddy. Eagles holding firm on their steep asking price for A.J. Brown. The Patriots have poked around. The Chargers are another team to keep tabs on the situation. I mentioned them to you earlier. I don't think they're going to be aggressive on it. I really don't. I think they've had some conversations. I just don't think that they're going to be strong players for that one. What was the question?
About Phillips. So Phillips, you expect to get a lot of heat.
Yeah, young pass rusher. What would you? And I'll give you a price. Ant. Let's go. Let's not go as high as 25. Let's go 23. 23 million. Would you pay that?
Yes.
You would. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Because when we've talked,
well,
before,
I was hearing 27.
You were what?
I was hearing 27.
I was going to make my way.
A friend of mine was saying in the league he's going to get 27.
I was going to make my way up. I was trying to figure out where your out was. Okay, 25. You're in.
Here's the problem, right? Who's my replacement? Right? Like, therein lies my issue. Like, am I going all the way in on Max? Right? If I'm not doing that, well, then I might as well focus on Phillips.
If I'm paying 20, you got to trade too. But I was going to say, if I'm paying 27 for Phillips,
I'm going to the Max.
Right? Yes. Exactly. Yeah. I was just trying to figure out where you're.
I mean, at 23, I go, all right,
yeah,
like, I'll do it. I do. I just need another edge. I mean, I don't have. I don't know where to go there. I have no, I don't have depth there.
Yeah.
And listen, that side of the ball is I need to be able to lean on that side of the ball because my offense is going to take a minute to kind of get on track. And
Yeah.
even when it does, I'm a heavy run team, right?
Yeah.
So I need my defense to marry my offense.
Yeah. They're built almost from the inside out in the defensive line, right? Especially if you're going to pay Jordan Davis,
Yes.
by the way.
And you have to.
You're almost built from the inside out. You can't have everything, and then what are you gonna do with Jalen Carter? I mean, maybe you say, okay, he plays out his deal and he goes elsewhere, and you got 5 great years out of him.
Well, I might even tag him. Like I don't know. I'm looking at
6.
it. Listen, we all know about him. He's a tremendous talent. Will he be there every snap? And how's his head? Right? Like those are my questions about paying him.
Yeah. But at what point, if you're Carter and Rosenhaus, who's been through this before, turn up the heat and go, no, you're not just going to sit here and pay us for 6 years total and then get rid of us. Like this is our pressure point. We're not showing up for camp. We're not doing this. We're holding out, or holding in. It's just hard to have it all. And there's not a great pass rushing market. You can try the trade market. You can try to draft one. There are some guys in this draft that guys seem to like, but it's not an instant impact. And when I asked you about Jalen Phillips, I thought you were on, he was hot out of the gate and then sort of cooled off.
Well, I brought that up to you last week about how he was great out of the gate and was just okay after that. My issue is I don't have another edge. That's my problem. Like this draft's great edge, but it's top heavy with the edge.
Yeah. And
I'm not getting up there. Hey, what's Kansas City doing? All right. Because my boy was not happy about the trade. Meanwhile, McDuffie to the Rams. The Rams are vicious, man. They're just they may be the most well-run organization in sports next to the Dodgers.
Yeah. They're going for it. They're going for it right now. Because they're interesting because they've got so many more contracts. Puka, Kobe Turner, Jared Verse. They've got so many guys just up front, like sort of like the Eagles. But both tackle. They got to pay these guys coming, and usually teams will be like, "Well, we're not going to do those deals now, or we're not going to do big deals now because we've got to do those deals later." They may wind up trading those guys, right? They may get to the point where we can't pay all of them, so we're going to trade this guy, get some of those picks back, then potentially bleep them picks again and use them for a trade. I also heard Stafford is going to come in at a lower number this year, which is going to potentially help them. That hasn't been adjusted just yet. I got to see what happens on that one. But yeah, they are going for it. They've got, and if Stafford does that, it's like, hey, sort of Tom Brady-ish. I'm in because I understand what we need to be successful, and let's win one more and let me ride off into the sunset type deal.
Yeah, you could. They're gonna. Is Devontae Adams back?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
They're just scary.
I mean, they were in on AJ potentially until the McDuffie deal took them because financially they're going to have to. Do something with him there. So, yeah, it's
all right.
a lot of moving parts in a team that's going for it.
All right, I got a couple quick ones, and then I'll let you go. But McDuffie, like, what are the Chiefs doing? Like
they still have Jalen Watson on the other side that I know that they like. He's not as highly drafted as McDuffie. He was a 7th-round pick, but he really came along. He's going to make some money and potentially there. There's some talk about LJ Sneed, L'Jarius Sneed, whom they let go, but potentially bringing him back and getting him into the fold. And there's a few routes that they can take here, and they've got some stuff up their sleeve. They also want to spend a little bit on the defensive line as well. So, and running back, they're going to be in the mix for some running backs as well. So they had to make a tough decision. I know a lot of people in that building were not happy. I mean, Patrick Mahomes put it right at damn. It was his post there, soon after that. You mentioned your boy wasn't happy. There are a few folks on that side of the ball that were not happy. So they gotta. I'm sure Veach gave him the old relax. I got a plan. Let me
Right, there's a
cook.
plan. Well,
Yeah.
listen, I know that they got to get their offense unleashed. Like you're wasting Mahomes. Like you got to be able to protect them.
Yeah. Yeah, they got I don't know what that means. It's not Eagles related. Sorry.
No,
This is
this is the greatest though. The greatest is the fact that it's video.
I got like
and I'm
yeah.
watching you because you're getting one rapid text after another, and you're processing and trying to be interviewed at the same time. It's actually great stuff.
Looks like he's ready to break some news.
Right. You look run.
No,
Do you remember Harry would say he looks, or Whitey would say he looks runnerish?
Yeah.
You look runnerish. Like you got a couple of stories ready to pop.
Yeah. He looks runners. Oh, it takes me back. Yeah. Are we still talking Chiefs? Where
No,
were we?
don't worry about it. All right, last question.
If it's as bad,
Last
if it's
question.
bad for you, imagine my wife, how she feels.
Yeah, last question. So if you had to say right now, AJ is either traded or not traded, which is it?
Hold on, let me take a sip of my
Wawa coffee.
Final answer, like Regis Philbin, final answer.
Final answer. What is your final answer?
R.I.P. Regis, my former Fox Sports 1 colleague. I think he gets moved.
Yeah.
I think he gets moved. And it's got to happen. Today's Friday. It's got to happen in the next 2 days. So
There it is.
buckle up today, Ant. Let's see.
Final answer. You're the greatest, brother.
Hey, if you hear anything, throw your
I will. I'll send it right over.
All hands,
you know
all
that.
hands on deck.
I did. Listen, I always said you got it. I love you. My man. See you, brother.